Hida Osato is an open-air museum that showcases the old life of Japanese villages in the mountainous areas of Gifu. It is located in Takayama City, Gifu Prefecture. It is around 308 kilometers away from Tokyo and can be reached within 5 hours of driving or via the bullet train. It is not clear when this was built, but the government has taken a great undertaking to transfer the different houses to this one local area. As you enter the gate of the village, a huge pond, almost looking like a lake, will greet you. In the winter, this pond can become iced. It has also become a habitat for fish, wild ducks, and other birds. The village itself is situated on a hillside, and the view of the northern Alps is breathtaking. Ancient village life in the mountainous areas of Japan was very challenging. The bitter cold of winter forced the people to adopt their style of building houses to alleviate cold-related problems, especially in the winter. Somehow, they were able to maintain small communities that are independent from most parts of Japan. People then didn't know so much of what was happening in other parts of the nation. Then came the advent of television, washing machines, and refrigerators in 1959 to 1960. Suddenly, the village people has become aware of the life outside their village. Younger people began to start anew. They started building their future plans outside the villages. Then the mass exodus started. Houses in the villages became uninhabited, and the interdependence within the community started to become more difficult. The problem was even aggravated by the shift into hydroelectric power as dams were built. The hillsides along these dams were inundated and communities went underwater. The city decided to keep the village tradition alive, so potential houses were identified and moved one by one to this place where they are right now. In here, the houses were preserved and that the community became the Hida Sato, and it is among the most interesting places in the whole of Gifu. We are approaching the house of silk artisans. Silk, as we know, is the main material used for making kimonos, which is a large part of how people were dressed during that era. The design of the house came from the latter part of 17th century. As you enter the house, beside the entrance for people, this is a barn where they kept their large animals, including their farm implements. And as you enter, you are asked to remove your shoes. It is customary that there is an indoor open fireplace. In bigger houses, there are even 3 or more. These are finished products, samples from the ancient times, some silk yarns which were rolled, and some hand tools. These are rare, ancient yarn spin wheels. There is also a showcase of ancient hand embroidery technique. There is a curious room here that showcases illustrations of life during the 1900s. The villagers are very religious. Artifacts of Buddhist altars are situated in the most special part of the house. These artifacts were adorned and well crafted. In other parts of the house, ancient tools for yarning or weaving or making clothing are displayed. As we traverse this well laid out rock stairs leading to another house, we can just be amazed of this design. Very realistic. And this is the house of the shingle makers. This house design is from the 1600s. The house is divided into two major parts. The first is the workshop and the other is the abode. The workshop area of the house has no flooring. It is just ground, while the abode area is neatly floored with polished wood and the inner chambers are with tatami floors. The workshop has its own fireplace to keep the workers warm during the winter. A separate fireplace is inside the abode to warm the rooms. Fireplaces in this village houses didn't have chimneys. The smoke accumulates and naturally passes through the roofings and walls. The Japanese believe that the smoke is important to preserve the quality of the lumber in the house. Going around, you can see the ancient tools and even samples of the shingles that were designed. Other tools for treating wood in the ancient times are also displayed. And yet again, there is a barn for large animals and farm implements. Now this is a religious gate. Let's see where does it lead to. Again, these rock stairs are very well laid out, going up in this area. And there is a building here that looks like a Buddhist temple or a prayer area. There is not much information displayed in this house, but there are paintings of horses displayed there in the hall and a prayer area where they can drop their coins as they say their prayers. This is the Wakayama's house. It is one of the most popular houses in the village. Its shape is called the Gassho-zukuri, which is characterized by the steep angle of roof. The design is the same with the famous houses in nearby Shirakawa village. This roofing design prevents accumulation of snow in the roof and also provides ample insulation of the interior from the cold coming from outside. The front area was built like stalls, which may be used as workshops during the warmer months and storage during the winter. In the rather large genkan or entrance, we can see firewood. This is essential to keep the house warm during the winter. Inside the living room is the fireplace. There are labels to show where the members of the family and guests are supposed to sit. Above the fireplace is a hanging platform where they smoke their meat or fish. In the tatami room, there is also a trunk of tree there hollowed. They could put up small fires to keep the room warm. And because it's a tatami room, we can expect that there is a religious artifact here. This is a prayer room with this religious relic. Part of the house displays miniature replicas showing how the Gassho style of building is structured. These are needles used for weaving through the thatched roof during the construction. Another fireplace can be seen here, near the stairs going to the upper floors. These are tools used for hammering and trimming the thatched roof into place. This hall is used for storage, and it also leads to the bathroom area of the house. The windows provide natural ample light during the day. A hollowed-out tree trunk was used as a tub. It is quite dark and the stairs leading to the higher floors. You can notice the big large lumber used to support the heavy thatched roofing. The second floor is actually a very large area. However, most of it is not restored. The natural light from the windows in both ends illuminate the floors. Bringing fire is extremely dangerous in this place. These are steps to get to the third and fourth level of the house, but the public is not allowed to climb up. Around the village are more of the ancient housing styles from as early as 500 years ago. They represent the common village homes during the olden days. Village life is quite difficult, so each house or a family specializes on a skill to help sustain the community. Some are farmers or fisher folks, some are artisans, cloth makers, carpenters, and some others. Hida Osato exemplifies this communing of people in a unique way for visitors to learn. This is a simple house, also has a barn for large animals. These were used as food storages to keep food fresh. The floor is just the ground. The customary fireplace is said to help the wood materials stay strong over long periods of time. This miniature representation of a farmer's house during the Edo period. This is also located in a prayer room. Around the house, there is a tatami mat workshop and the ancient tools used to make them. This fire pit is slightly built lower than the floor, with hooks used to heat up tools for making the mat. This artifact explains the traditional way of manufacturing mats in the old days. The roofing of this house are woven with ropes in an intricate way to be sturdy and long-lasting. Outside the house is this traditional wooden water mill. This machine allows them to run a piston that can be used as an engine in various applications. Unfortunately, it no longer works, so we can see it in action. We are approaching the house where the village elders meet and discuss matters in the community. This house has a large ground area in the first floor. The ground floor where the meetings were held are a series of interconnected rooms built for large gatherings. The second floor is closed to public. On the other side of the house is this tool warehouse where you can see hundreds of artifacts used in the Edo era villages. This very old Gassho-style house is near a Buddhist bell. It may be a clergy house. The roofing is very old as moss have already turned the thatched straws green. The bell at the end of the house can be heard from here. Like the first thatched roof house, this one has stalls in its side. This house, however, is smaller. It was still very cold as ice stalactites are formed on the lower end of the roof. This is a traditional snow sled used in the winter. This is the huge bell on the other side of the house. This was used for religious purposes. This rice field is on a flattened hillside. It can be tilled again in late spring or summer. Gateways like this indicate that the place is a religious center. Houses like this located in the higher ground of the village have still remnants of the winter snow. These houses were resided by artisans such as potters, wood carvers, and others. There are more than 30 houses in this outdoor museum, and it requires time for everyone to visit all of them. This is the Hida no Sato Folk Village in Hida, Takayama City, Gifu Prefecture, Japan.